We don't ask with respect. We don't offer friendship, but we do offer the Godfather Minute. And that's the show we're doing today. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm your co-host, Andy Robinson.
And this is the show where we break down the Godfather 1 minute at a time.
And I want to try out some Italian. E minuto sei.
Now, what does that mean?
Alessandro, e minuto sei.
Si.
That means it is the 6th minute.
Oh, I like it. You're going to learn every minute in Italian, so by the end you'll be able to say every minute number in Italian.
And then I'll be able to become an accountant in Italy. Right?
Yeah, it's true. A lot of money in those numbers.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll run a numbers racket in Italy, but I'll only know numbers. People will say like, hey, what's the play on this team? I'll just be like, I don't understand. I could just say numbers. Yeah. I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah, totally. Just take the money.
But I think I owe it to our listeners to learn every number, at least every minute, in Italian.
Now, can you say it again just so I can learn it and our audience can repeat along with you?
Sure. I think so.
So.
No. That's in English. Let me start over. Minuto. No, minuto. Sei. That's it. SEI. Sei. Minuto sei.
Minuto sei.
Yeah,
that means the 6th minute.
The 6th minute.
I like it.
Yep. Different from menudo, which is often in Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's discuss minute sei.
Mm-hmm.
Say. It starts off with
the corpse ballet. Minuto sei begins with the corpse ballet.
Bonasera is petitioning the Don for to help him out with his daughter's little problems there. Her little problems of getting beat up whenever your jaw wire.
Just a little problem. A little wire in your jaw.
Yeah, you guys don't sweat the small stuff. That's the lesson of this. But it starts off with the Don explaining why Bonasera. He understands why he didn't come to him. You had a good trade. You made a good living. The police protected you, and there were courts of law.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's why he understands, because Bonasera was totally assimilated and mainstream and so on. So
I have to compliment you on your Don Corleone impression. I think it's improved from previous minutes.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
Grazie.
E minuto sei.
So do you agree with the Don here? Do you think the Don is being... Does the Don look at Bonasera? Is he like, oh yeah, you had your courts of law and your police and all that, you Mr. Big Shot? Like, do you think he is? Does he think Bonasera is a sucker for believing in the American system?
Yeah, that's a great question. I watching the movie, I felt like he was much more serious than he was in the book. I think we said this earlier. In the book, he's really playing Bonasera. He's like, oh, you believed in courts, you believed in politicians. Why don't you go to them?
Oh yeah.
What, are you gonna cry? What are you gonna cry? He starts smacking him around.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't smack him around. But I feel like in the movie, the tone is much more serious. That he's not being sarcastic. He's not playing him.
Yeah.
He's really trying to make a point.
So yeah. Well, yeah. I have a note for later on, but I don't want to burn it up here. Yeah. I also think it's interesting that he says, and there were courts of law.
Oh, interesting.
Implying that, like, he's past the point, like, your courts are no good to your hair. Like, you know, it's in my world now.
Exactly. It's as if the Godfather knows Bonasera can't come back.
He can never go back.
Even almost just walking in there, he's taken a step over. He's crossed that line.
That's true.
Yeah, it is interesting, the two competing philosophies. So they get into his request, which is he asked him to kill these boys, basically. Mm-hmm. And the Godfather says, no, we can't do that. That's not justice. So what do you think about their two competing philosophies of justice? Is it justice in your Alex Robinson's values to kill someone who has done that to your daughter?
Well, he's not going to kill them. They're not murderers.
That's true.
He's just it's not justice. So do I think it's right that he beats them up? I don't know. It's a tough thing to say.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to just be like every person who has a grudge then suddenly goes out and you know, that's anarchy. That's people just beating each other up like crazy.
Yeah. Yet we are taught that when someone does an injustice against you, you're supposed to get them back with a kind of a step more, a step higher to teach that bully. We'll just use the bully on the playground.
Wait, we're taught that?
Well, I mean, in general, that's
Yeah.
the mindset is that when someone does something to you, you're supposed to get them back, but a little bit
You hit back twice as hard.
twice as hard to teach them, hey, don't
Yeah.
screw with me in the first place.
Yeah. You seem to have gone to a different school than I did. I don't remember being taught that particular lesson.
You taught me that, brother.
No. Well, that's an interesting thing because from a certain point of view, the government is basically just the mob. Like it's another gang.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're the ones who make the rules. We offer you protection, and you know we're fair and we're just theoretically. But you know, like if there's violence to be done, we're the only ones allowed to do it. Like not like regular people.
Yeah, it's fun. That's so clear now that you're saying that to me now. But that's exactly right. I don't think I had thought of the government as just another gang. More, it's organized crime,
Right.
and hopefully not crime.
Yeah.
But plenty of crime takes place in government channels.
Yeah, it's true. It's a and look, we all pay with our taxes. We all pay. We're all getting extortionized here,
Yeah. And the only thing is we don't have to. Well, I was gonna say we don't have to kiss the ring of the Godfather, but
don't we?
I mean, yeah, every day.
Anyway, you're talking. We're here on Libertarian Radio. You can give us a call. Anyway, yeah. So
Radio Free Godfather. Radio Free Godfather.
yeah. So it's competing value systems. The Don, by operating outside the law, he sees himself as being almost like he has to be an honorable person.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I'm not just going to kill people because that's not justice.
So what would you have done, Alex? Alex, if you were the Godfather, what would you do?
What would you do? What would you do? What would you do?
So what would you do?
Well, what if I was the Godfather and Bonasera was coming to me?
Yes.
Oh, I would have him killed.
You'd have Bonasera killed?
Totally.
Because he didn't pay proper tribute. He didn't ask for respect.
Well, we're not up to it yet, but actually, at this point, I would not have killed him. But later on, he does say something that I think was a. Oh yeah,
That's next minute, isn't it?
No, in this minute where he says, "How much shall I pay you?"
Oh, that's right.
And so that's when to me that was like an insult to the Don.
Now, why is that an insult?
Because it implies that he doesn't have any honor. That he'll just, hey, if you have the money, he'll do whatever you want, no matter how wrong it is or anything.
He's not
like
operating from a value system.
Yeah, whereas the
Or his
Don at
value
least
system
tells
is money.
himself that he's an honorable person. He's doing what he had to do because he was forced to do it.
Yeah.
And as we see in Godfather 2, he's kind of, he can't get honest work, so he kind of has to become a criminal. At least that's how he sees it.
Yeah.
He wants to be the one pulling the strings.
Yeah. That didn't make sense.
So do you think because to me the line when he says, how much shall I pay you? That to me seems to really change the tone of because that's when the Don gets up, puts the cat down. That's when we see Tom and Sonny in the background. And to me seems like he's really because the Don at that point has not even mentioned anything about money or payment. He's all up until this point he's all about respect. Oh, you don't even have me for a cup of coffee. My wife is the godmother to your daughter. And then he's like, well, how much do I pay you? Like,
Yeah, like a hired gun.
yeah.
But you're right, it does change the tone. He puts the cat down, he stands up. It's clearly, he's adding insult to injury.
Yes.
And the Don's, I think, at this point, trying to reframe how he approaches Bonasera. Because he doesn't want to just tell him what to do. He wants
him to come on his own free will.
Exactly, yeah. Because that's the power of the Don. He's not forcing anyone to make these choices.
That would have been funny if he kept like he kept dropping hints, and then Bonasera was like $1,000, $2,000.
Those are the deleted scenes.
It's like an hour and a half of the Godfather being like, boy, if anyone would just ask me politely, just say please, and I would totally do it. $90,000. That is my final offer.
Well, not even just money. money, starts offering all kinds of oddball stuff.
Yeah.
You want me to paint funny faces on the corpses that I process?
Why? Why?
I don't know. He's drawing straws because
yeah.
Don doesn't want $100,000. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
The
what-
next funeral, half off.
yeah.
Yeah. So and also he says when he's listing why he's frustrated with Bonasera, he says, "You didn't even think to call me Godfather."
Yeah.
Ding, which is the name of the movie.
Oh, was that the first time it was?
No, I think we didn't mention it, but I think he says Godmother to your only child. I think this is the
Yeah.
first time he says
It might
Godfather.
be, yeah.
Yeah. So the titular Godfather.
And bringing it back to that iconic cash cow font and logo, right?
Yeah. Every time he says Godfather, you hear they should have a little dollar sign.
In the coins.
Yeah. A lot of lira. It's all
Yeah.
the same. Yeah, so he says, "You didn't even think to call me Godfather." Like, that's the... Do you think the Don is... Because when we see him come to America, he basically is a self-made guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not like he rose under the tutelage of another crime boss. He didn't team up with... what was that guy's name? The guy from Godfather 2, the bad guy, the
dark hand.
yeah.
What's
his name?
No.
Anyway, it's not like he worked with him. So
Yeah.
do you think the Don is modeling himself after some like male like crime figure in Sicily who was like an honorable?
That's a good question. At this point in the book, I'm making my
Yeah.
way through the book. It doesn't talk about that. Like what his thoughts
Yeah.
were in coming to be the Godfather and how he sees his role. It does a little bit, but
Yeah.
they don't talk about a role model.
Yeah.
I do think that he thinks of his work as a profession in some way, and he respects Bonasera because I think he says it at some point too, and it's in the book how you're an undertaker, you've created this life for yourself. I'm making up the dialogue now.
Yeah.
You have a good job, you pay your taxes, you believed in the laws. So I think maybe he does consider it another profession. Obviously, it's more than that, and he sees he has more of a responsibility to provide for his family. But maybe that's it. It was the way he provided for his family.
Bonasera did or Vito?
No, Vito.
Yeah. So you think he does have respect for Bonasera?
I think he does.
Because he's
Yeah.
a businessman. He's going about
because he's an immigrant too, and made a good life for himself. I
Yeah.
think he uses those words.
Yeah. So then,
I know in the last few seconds, that's when he puts the cat down, and for the first time, the camera, you see the two other people in the room, which I think is fantastic because the first 5 minutes, the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's just Bonasera, and then you see the Godfather in this minute. But I would have thought it was just these two guys in the room, especially how.
although you did see someone hand a drink.
That's true.
Off
That
screen,
was
so
the
there had to be
first
at least one other
indication.
person, yeah.
The first sign of power.
Yeah.
Well, second sign. Bonasera comes to him, and then someone's handing him a drink.
Who do you think
He
was
didn't even have to ask for it. He said, you've made it.
Yeah.
But people are just handing you drinks, and you hadn't even asked for
You
it.
mean Bonasera then? So you're talking about Bonasera's made it.
No, I'm talking about Vito Corleone has made it.
Oh, well, they weren't handing him the drink.
Oh, that's right. They were handing Bonasera.
I don't get a drink. Why are you treating me so disrespectfully?
And then the person who handed him the drink has to go through that whole thing. Should I give you $10? More deleted scenes.
Yeah. It's a lot of people don't understand how things work
Oh,
in
my gosh.
the Don's office today.
That's why it's so frustrating in the Godfather's life. He gets caught up in these little side feedback loops where
Yeah.
people don't show the proper respect.
Do we know who hands him the drink? I'm sure it's in the script, but who do you
boy.
think it is? Do you think it's Tom?
Great question. Yeah, because we know Tom Hagen, the consigliere, is in the room, and Santino, his eldest son, is in the room. I'm going to think it's Santino because Santino is standing and is near him. But yet it's more of a role for Tom.
I was going to say it's more of a Tom thing.
yeah.
Because Sonny's more like, he's too big for that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom is a bit more, because he's German Irish, he's more like humble and like, all right, well, I guess he kind of has a more of a not a servant role, but
He's more seeing to the Godfather's needs. He's kind of a personal assistant in addition to a political advisor, right?
yeah, concierge and Yeah, he's the one we see him doing errands for the Don.
But he's not taking his dry cleaning. He's not booking his flights. He's not doing those kinds of personal assistant things. I think you're right. I think it's Tom Hagen. Another indication in the book, they say that during this entire scene, Santino is there to watch how his father deals with these situations. But in the book, Puzo writes that Santino is his mind is he's looking out the window because he's drawn to the wedding, all the festivities. He's really eager to get out there and start partying.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about more in the wedding scene.
Right. Oh yeah, well,
so I think
and Santino wants to be partying. You know what that means?
Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, and that's the end of the minute. Is Tom putting down? So Tom's also drinking a drink. So maybe while he was making a drink, he made one for Bonasera too.
Yeah.
So, and then the minute ends with Tom putting down his drink and the Don standing up and getting ready for round 2 with Bonasera to lay
Coming
on the
back.
line with them. Yeah.
There was an interesting way Don Corleone phrased something. He said, "You asked me to do murder." I always thought that was an odd way of saying it.
Do murder.
To do murder.
Well, English is a second language.
Yeah, and I wondered if that was maybe in Italian, that is the way you say it.
Oh, I wonder.
To murder someone is you're doing murder.
Instead of committing murder.
Yeah,
It's the
or
same,
just murdering.
It really is the same thing. Committing, like, are you gonna do murder or are you gonna commit murder? It's really the same thing.
Yeah.
Commit
it really
and do
is.
are like the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. Commit.
I bet it does come from Italian.
Yeah.
Like they're to do murder.
Is that in the book as well? Do you remember?
I'll have to check.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll
I didn't
come
mean to
back.
put you on the spot, but
Yeah. Well, I had it in my notes, but I didn't look back. I don't remember seeing it
Right,
in the book.
because I wonder how much wiggle room there was for the improvisation,
The
and stuff.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Marlon Brando known for being a little freewheeling with the dialogue?
Yeah, well, he definitely didn't memorize it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he read the cue cards word for word or whether he just kind of like was, got the gist of it across.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he does a fine job
Yeah.
in this minute and all subsequent minutes.
Yeah, I have the complete screenplay book here, but it's the same thing that's in the movie. So I don't know if this is based on what wound up in the movie or whether this was the script they were
sure.
working on. I tried to find out the price of a funeral in 1945.
Interesting.
And I went on the internet and I could not find it, unfortunately. I will, surprisingly, that's not easily available.
Wow. Cost of living,
Well, there's-
odds and ends, activities.
I did find other cost of living things, like a gallon of gas was 15 cents.
Oh my gosh, I'll take it.
The average house, but it's 1945 gas, so it's all
yeah.
like, your car's all like, like running like a.
The thing is, you're going to spend all your money getting a 1945 car.
That's where they
that
get
will
you.
run
The
on
gas
that
is so
gas.
cheap.
Yeah.
It's like a Prius or something. You pay a lot for the car out front, but keeping it running is pretty cheap. Average house $4,600, and a car was $1,020. That's not so expensive.
That's not too bad.
No. So you could buy $1,000 car, and then you get 15-cent gas.
Well, and you can, according to Bonasera's the cost list, you could buy like 10 to 15 murders for that cost.
You could get people to do 15 murders.
You wouldn't buy a lot of respect.
No,
But
no.
you could get your murders.
I'd say you
taken
get no
care of.
respect.
No respect.
In other news in 1945, Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi who?
Ho Chi Minh was the leader in Vietnam, and he declared it because at the time Vietnam was a French colony, and he declared independence from France, which owned Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And of course, that fight for freedom would go on for another 30 years because that's basically the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Was basically
Yeah.
so. It's kind of, and then this movie was set in the 70s when Vietnam was still a thing when this movie was done.
And an interesting connection is that Marlon Brando would go on to play an important role in a Vietnam movie.
Oh, they're in the Vietnam War.
In the Vietnam War, he would be in the Airborne Division. He would be Colonel
Colonel Kurtz.
Kurtz in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
And who directed that film?
Who? I give up.
Wasn't it Francis Ford Coppola?
It was Prince.
I almost got that wrong. No respect.
There were 5,000 television sets in the United States
What?
in 1945.
Whoa.
Of course, there were only 10,000 people in the whole country, so it's kind of a skewed.
That's true. Wait, did you say there were only 10,000 people?
There are 5,000 TV sets in the whole country.
But only how many people?
I said 10,000, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I don't have that. I couldn't find that information on the internet.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So 5,000 TV sets, but I heard at that point they still had no channels.
It was just how you turn it on. It's all static.
People were so entertained.
Yeah.
They would
just the novelty of it. We're like, oh, look at it.
like in 10 years, there will be 1 or 2 channels that we can watch things.
You're like, what do you see when you look at that screen? I just see a bunch of static. You know what I see? Potential.
I see money. A lot of money in that static.
Well, that white static.
That white static. That was what Salazzo originally wanted to get into.
Oh, yeah.
That business. White static, programming, cable.
Henry Winkler.
Hey.
Another 70s icon. Steve Martin. Goldie Hawn, Mia Farrow, and the cute one, Davy Jones, all born in 1945.
Born in 1945.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say they're originally auditioning for roles in this film.
Oh, no. It would be funny.
Davy Jones as the Godfather. You show me no respect. He's going to sing all those lines.
But I think when people do historical movies, they should incorporate as much like trivia as they can.
Oh, wow.
Like they should have had like Sonny reading the paper in the background, and every now and then, oh, did you see here? Henry Winkler was born to this year, or something like that.
Hey, Pop, you want me to fill up your tank? 15-cent gas down in the corner.
Go buy me one of those 5,000 TV sets that are in the country.
Pop, there ain't no channels here. You gotta have vision, Santino.
Yeah, so that's what I think they should incorporate as much. You know, even if it's stuff that oh, did you hear about this Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam? Boy, I bet that's going to end. Well, that's actually on I forget what I was talking about that, but I think we came up with the term Picassoing.
What's that?
Which is when you have a movie, like a time travel movie, and you have someone meet someone, and you're like, oh, that kid's going to go far. What's your name, son? He's like, I'm a Pablo Picasso. You know, you're like doing something that the audience will be like, see?
Yeah. Why is it Pablo Picasso? Was he in some movie, in some time travel movie?
I don't think so. I think it was just I think he was in that Woody Allen. Is it Midnight in Paris? Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, there were a bunch of that's
where he goes back to Paris in the
time
30s.
Travel,
yeah. So anyway, so
we'll have to keep bringing that up in our future podcast. Then different ways they could integrate historical data into the filming. Well, this was originally going to take place in the 70s.
Oh, that's right.
That's crazy.
And all the stuff they mentioned would have been like, "Hey, did you see that Rocky movie came out today?
Yeah,
it's going to be a big hit. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet they're going to make like 6 of those movies eventually."
That's funny. You should bring up Rocky because who would play Adrian, Rocky's wife?
Oh,
Talia Shire.
Who plays Constance. Talia Shire is the sister of Francis Ford Coppola. It all comes together. The only time I can really think of that they do the Picassoing, it's not quite, is at the end of Godfather 2 when they say like, "Oh, did you hear that they bombed Pearl Harbor?"
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, it's Pop's birthday," you know, like. So that's the only time I can think of them kind of shoehorning in like a specific. Yeah. I mean, obviously Michael's in the Marines or whatever, and we see the Cuban Revolution. In part 2 of it.
I also wonder how much that could potentially. We're joking about it, like going over the top, but I wonder how much that could potentially take away from the story and the themes. Like if you do that.
What do you mean if you have like, oh, Steve Martin was born today? What a crazy guy.
You're not going to do that. What a wild and crazy day.
Show a baby with the arrow through the head.
Goldie Hawn, whoa, they went overboard. But I mean, is it a distract? It becomes less timeless. I'm saying.
How so?
This movie is about power and family, really about power. So I don't know, I'm just wondering if you put in too much history, it might take away from those themes.
Well, definitely.
Maybe.
Even if you had like if you had like Harry Truman showing up or something, or what do you mean? like
they do mention World War II a couple of times.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what was going on in 1945. Anything else going on in minute 6?
No, that's all I have for minute 6. I'm looking forward to the next few scenes. We start to learn more about. We start to see and meet the main characters of the movie.
That's one of the great things about this movie is like I'm like, oh, there's so many. Like, oh, I'm looking forward to the next scene, but that's like practically every.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Johnny Fontaine singing and like one or two other slow moments, this movie is like
It never slows down.
double dynamite.
It really does. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All right, then. So, listeners, thank you for listening to the show.
Would you like to rate the minute?
Oh, right. Well, this one you got a lot of
Minuto sei.
you got a lot of Brando. You got the you don't even call me Godfather.
Yeah.
You got the first mention of the word Godfather.
It's a huge lesson to the viewers and to Bonasera about respect.
Yeah.
About the Godfather's power.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8.
8 out of 5.
Yeah, it almost doubles back into no. I forget what the scale is.
We can change it to 10. Let's go out of 10.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Oh no, we said we were gonna do 1 to 5 and no
1 to
halves.
5. That's right.
Or
No
do we
halves.
allow halves? Because you really have to
Let's try out of 5 and no halves.
halves because that really makes it. You really gotta settle. I'll go 4.5.
You can't do halves. Go on. You got to round it.
4 3/4
Round it.
then.
4 3/4.
No, I'll say 4.
I'm going to give it 4.
I really wanted to go. I'm almost tempted to go 5 because but like we said, you can't give every minute a 5. So
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
get it. But you got some great Brando in here.
Yeah. Great Brando. Dialogue is great. I don't want to give too much away, but in the next minute, we're going to see some serious dialogue.
Serious.
Yeah.
All right.
Dialogue that's even hard to listen to. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
So I give it a solid 4. How would you rate our assessment of Minuto sei?
Well, I did appreciate the introduction of learning Italian, and I thought some of the 1945 trivia was okay. I think it was just a standard. I think our coverage was very standard in this one.
And that's 3.
Yeah, 3.
3
3
is
is the
standard.
3 is the
Yeah.
right down the middle.
And what would be it too? It does that if we stutter or there are a lot of long pauses or we're really just clearly making stuff up.
Or just like technical, like some
yeah.
kind of buzz during the whole episode.
Well, there's plenty of time to put that in post-production.
Oh,
So maybe we shouldn't rate it yet.
Yeah, we should.
We have to rate it all after the fact. Do a whole other podcast where we rate them all.
What we should do is we should rate last week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we've had a week to think about it, so we'll rate this week's episode next week.
Okay. So will we remember that?
Yeah, of course we will.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's it.
Oh, before we go, don't forget we're on Twitter at Godfather Minute. So go follow us on Twitter and keep up to date in what we're doing. And until then,
Next time,
leave
leave
the
the
gun. No, wait, leave the
gun.
cannoli. Take the gun. Leave the cannoli on
Godfather Minute.
Is that right?
That would have been funny if he left the cannoli and took the gun. I think that would have sent even a stronger message.
Well, it's an old Sicilian proverb.
Yeah.